Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Magnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapata Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prisabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Rityandastoya Bhadrani Vidunuti Suhritsatam नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the person of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the person of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Supersoul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the person of God who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Dheeraj Prabhu Tanar Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. So would anyone like to read first?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Standard Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Am I audible? Can I start?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, please do. Thank you, Prabhu.
Canto 4, chapter 24, text 65. स एष लो स एष लोकान् अतिचन्दवेगो विकर्षसि त्वं हरुकालयान भूतानि भूतेर् अनुमेय तत्त्वो घनावलिर्वायुर् इवाविशय. Synonyms: sa, that, Esha, this, Lokan, all the planetary systems, Ati, very much, Chandavega, the great force, Vikarshashi, destroys, Tvam, your lordship, hello, however, Kalayana, in due course of time, Bhutani, all living entities, Bhutai, by other living entities, Anumeya, Tattva, the absolute truth can be guessed, Ghana, Avale, the clouds, Vayu, air, Eva, like, Avishaya, unbearable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Lord, your absolute authority cannot be directly experienced, but one can guess by seeing the activities of the world that everything is being destroyed in due course of time. The force of time is very strong, and everything is being destroyed by something else, just as one animal is being eaten by another animal. Time scatters everything, exactly as the wind scatters clouds in the sky. Purport. The process of destruction is going on according to the law of nature. Nothing within this material world can be permanent. Although scientists, philosophers, workers, and everyone else are trying to make things permanent, one foolish scientist recently declared that eventually life will be made permanent through science. Some so called scientists are also trying to manufacture living entities within the laboratory. Thus, in one way or another, everyone is busy denying the existence of Supreme Personality of Godhead and rejecting the supreme authority of the Lord. However, the Lord is so powerful that he destroys everything in the form of death. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. I am all devouring death. Bhagavad Gita 10:34. The Lord is just like death to the atheists, for he takes away everything they accumulate in material world. Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad, always denied the existence of the Lord, and he tried to kill his 5-year-old boy due to the boy's unflinching faith in God. However, in due course of time, the Lord appeared as Narsimhadev and killed Hiranyakashipu in the presence of his son. As stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, this killing process is natural. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One animal is food for another animal. Bhagavatam 1:13-47. A frog is eaten by a snake is eaten by a mongoose, and the mongoose is eaten by another animal. In this way, the process of destruction goes on by the supreme will of the Lord. Although we do not see the hand of the Supreme Lord directly, we can feel the presence of that hand through the Lord's process of destruction. We can see the clouds scattered by the wind, although we cannot see how it is being done because it is not possible to see the wind. Similarly, although we do not directly see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can see that He controls the process of destruction. The destructive process is going on fiercely under the control of the Lord, but the atheists cannot see it. Text 66. प्रमत्त उच्चैर इति कृत्य चिन्तया प्रवृद्धलोभं विषयेषु लालसं त्वम् अप्रमत्त सहसाभिपद्यसे शुल् शुल्लीहा शुल्लीहानो अहिर् इव कुम् antaka. Synonyms: pramatta, persons who are mad; uchchai, loudly; iti, thus; kritya, to be done; chintaya, by such desire; pravriddha, very much advanced; lobham, greediness; visheshu, in the matter of material enjoyment; lalasam, so desiring; tvam, your lordship; apramatta, completely in transcendence; sahasa, all of a sudden; avipadyase, seizes them; shut, hungry; lelihana, by the greedy tongue; ahi, snake; iva, like; akhum, mouse; antaka, destroyer. Translation: My dear Lord, all living entities within this material world are mad after planning for things, and they are always busy with with a desire to do this or that. This is due to uncontrollable greed, the greed for material enjoyment. The greed for material enjoyment is always existing in the living entity. But your lordship is always alert, and in due course of time you strike him, just as a snake seizes a mouse and very easily swallows him. But everyone is greedy and everyone makes plans for material enjoyment. In his lust for material enjoyment, the living entity is described as a madman, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvacha ahankar vimodhatma karta aham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities which are in actuality carried out by nature. Everything is enacted by the laws of nature, and these laws are under the direction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The atheists or unintelligent men do not know this. They are busy making their own plans, and big nations are busy expanding their empire. And yet we know that in due course of time, many empires have come into existence and been destroyed. Many aristocratic families were created by people in their extreme madness. But we can see that in the course of time, those families and empires have all been destroyed. But still, the foolish atheists do not accept the supreme authority of the Lord. Such foolish people unnecessarily concoct their own duties without referring to the supreme authority of the Lord. The so-called political leaders are busy making plans to advance the material prosperity of their nation. But factually, these political leaders only want an exalted position for themselves. Due to their greed for material position, they falsely present themselves as leaders before the people and collect their votes, although they are completely under the grip of the laws of material nature. These are some of the faults of modern civilization. Without taking to God consciousness and accepting the authority of the Lord, the living entity becomes ultimately confused and frustrated in their plan making attempts. Due to their unauthorized plans for economic development, the price of commodities is rising daily all over the world, so much so that it has become difficult for the poorer classes, and they are suffering the consequences. And due to lack of Krishna consciousness, people are being fooled by so-called leaders and plan makers. Consequently, the suffering of the people are increasing. According to the laws of nature, which are backed by the Lord, nothing can be permanent within this material world. Therefore, everyone should be allowed to take shelter of the Supreme in order to be saved. In this regard, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yakitapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sohridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shanti Gacchati. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. Bhagavad Gita 5:29. If one wants peace of mind and tranquility in society, he must accept the fact that the real enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is the proprietor of everything all over the universe, and He is the supreme friend of all living entities as well. By understanding this, people can become happy and peaceful individually and collectively. Text 67. Kastvत्पदाब्जं विजहाति पंडितो यस्तेवमान यस्तेवमान व्यवमानकेतना विशङ्कयास्मत् गुरुर्र्चति स्म यद् विनोपपत्तिं मनवश्चतुर्दश. Ka, who, Tvat, your, Padabjam, lotus feet, Vibhati, avoids, Pandita, learned, Ya, who, Te, onto you, Avamana, deriding, Vyayamana, decreasing, Ketana, this body, Vishankaya, without any doubt, Asmat, our Guru, spiritual master, father, Acharati, worships Sma in the past, Yat, that, Vina, without, Upapattim, agitation, Manava, the Manus, Chaturdasha, 14 in number. Translation. My dear Lord, any learned person knows that unless he worships you, his entire life is spoiled. Knowing this, how could he give up worshipping your lotus feet? Even our father and spiritual master, Lord Brahma, unhesitantly worshipped you, and the 14 Manus followed in his footsteps. Purport. The word Pandita means a wise man. Who is actually a wise man? The wise man is described in Bhagavad Gita in this way. Bahunam janmanamante jnanvan mam prabhadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, who is actually in knowledge, surrenders unto me, knowing me in the cause of all causes, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Bhagavad Gita 7:19. Thus, when the wise man actually becomes a wise after many births and whimsical attempts at self-realization, he surrenders onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Such a Mahatma or learned person knows that Krishna, Vasudev, is everything. Vasudeva Sarvamati. Learned person always think that life is wasted unless they worship Lord Krishna or become his devotee. Srila Rupa Goswami also says that when one becomes an advanced devotee, he understands that he should be reserved and fervent, Shanti, and that he should engage in the service of Lord and not waste time, Avyartha Kalatvam. He should also be detached from all material attraction, Virakti, and he should not long for any material respect in return for his activities, Manashunyata. He should be certain that Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him, Asha Bandha, and he should always be very eager to serve the Lord faithfully, Samutkantha. The wise man is always very eager to glorify the Lord by chanting and hearing Namagane Sadaruchi. And he is always eager to describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Asaktistat. He should also be attracted to those places where the Lord has his pastimes. Pritistad Vasatistale. These are symptoms of advanced devotee. Yeah, so this is a very nice verse. It's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the symptom of very advanced soul pure devotee of the Lord. It is a Shantir, Avyartha Kalatvam, Viraktir, Manashunyata, Ashabadha, Samutkantha, Namagane Sadaruchi, Asaktistat Gunatthane, and 9, Pritistat Vasatistale. So these 9 symptoms are there. 9 external symptoms. Yeah. An advanced devotee or a perfect human being who is actually wise and learned cannot give up his service at the lotus feet of the Lord. Although Lord Brahma has long lifespan of 4.3 billion years, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. 4.3 billion years constitute 12 hours in a day of Brahma. Brahma is nonetheless afraid of death and consequently engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Similarly, all the Manus who appear and disappear during the day of Brahma are also engaged in the Lord's devotional service. In Brahma's one day, 14 Manus appear and disappear. The first Manu is Swayambhu Manu. Each Manu lives for 71 yugas, each consisting of some 4.3 million years. Although the Manus have such a long lifespan, they still prepare for the next life by engaging in the devotional service of the Lord. In this age, human beings only live for 60 or 80 years, true. And even this small lifespan is gradually decreasing. Therefore, it is even more imperative for human beings to take the worship of the Lord's lotus feet, the lotus feet of the Lord, by constantly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manatena Kirtaniya Sadahari. When one is engaged in devotional service, he is often surrounded by envious people, and often many enemies come to and try to defeat him or stop him. This is not new in this present age, for even in the days of your Prahlad Maharaj, who was engaged in devotional service of the Lord, was harassed by his demoniac father Hiranyakashipu. The atheists are always prepared to harass a devotee. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suggested that one be very tolerant of these people. Nonetheless, one has to continue chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and preaching the chanting of this mantra because such preaching and chanting constitute the perfection of life. One should chant and preach about the urgency of making his life perfect in all respects. One should thus engage in the devotional service of the Lord and follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas, beginning with Lord Brahma and others. Text 68. अथ त्वम् अशिनो ब्रह्मन् परमात्मं विपश्चितं विश्वं रुद्रभयद्रष्टम् अकृतश्चिद्भयागते. Atha, therefore, Tvam, my Lord, yourself, Ashi are na our Brahman, O Supreme Brahman, Paramatman, O Super Soul, Vipaschitam for the learned wise man, Vishwam, the whole universe, Rudra Bhayam, being afraid of Rudra, Drashtam, annihilated, Akutash, Akut, Akutaschit Bhaya, undoubtedly fearless, Gati, destination. Translation: My dear Lord, all actually learned persons know you are the Supreme Brahman and the Super Soul. Although the entire universe is afraid of Lord Rudra, who ultimately annihilates everything for the learned devotees, you are the fearless destination of all. Purpose. For the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation, there are three lords, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, Maheshwara. The material body is finished at the time of annihilation. Both the universal body and the small unit, the individual living entity's body, are susceptible to annihilation at the ultimate end. However, the devotees do not fear annihilation of the body, for they are confident that they will go back home, back to Godhead after the annihilation, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vitti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sarashma. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita 4:9. Also, there is one famous verse regarding a fear of death that devotees don't have. It's in Ayur Harati Vai Pumsam Udyan Pastam Charantasa. Um, it's in Bhagavad Gita, sorry, Bhagavatam. Yeah, it's in what's that verse? It's in second canto, I think. Yeah, Bhagavatam 2:3:17. आयुर्हरन्ति वै पुंसाम् उद्यन्तस्तं चरन्तसो तस्यार्थे यच्छनो नीतः उत्तमश्लोकवार्तया. Translation: Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of all good personality of God. So for devotees, there is no fear. Yeah.
Did we
Shipram bhavanti dharma.
no, nothing.
क्षिप्रं भवन्ति धर्मात्मा शाश्वत शांतिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्त्या प्रणश्यति. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Bhagavad Gita 9:31. Yeah. Just two more verses I will read, then others can continue. Text 69. Idam japata bhadram vo vishuddha nripanandana swadharmam Canto Bhagavat Arpita Shaya Idam, this Japata, while chanting Bhadram, all auspiciousness, Va, all of you, Vishuddha, purified, Nripananda, Nandana, the sons of the king, Sudharma, one's occupational duties, Anutishtanta, executing, Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arpita, given up, Ashaya, Ashaya, possessing all kinds of faithfulness. Translation: My dear sons of the king, just execute your occupational duty as kings with a pure heart. Just chant this prayer, fixing your mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. That will bring you all good fortune, for the Lord will be very much pleased with you. So here Lord Shiva is giving advice to the Prachetas, the sons of kings. The king. Yeah. Purport: the prayer offered by Lord Shiva are very authoritative and significant. Simply by offering prayers to the Supreme Lord, one can become perfect, even though engaged in his occupational duty. The real purpose of life is to become a devotee of the Lord. It does not matter where one is situated, whether one is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, American, Englishman, Indian, etc. One can execute devotional service anywhere and everywhere in the material existence, simply by offering prayers unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra is also a prayer, for a prayer addresses the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his name and invokes good fortune by petitioning the Lord to allow one to engage in his devotional service. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra also says, My dear Lord Krishna, my dear Lord Rama, O energy of the Lord, Hare, kindly engage me in your service. Although one may be very lowly situated, he can execute devotional service under any circumstance. As stated, Ahetuki Apratihata. Yeah, so this is very important verse, this Bhagavatam 1 to 6. Ahetuki means the devotional service is causeless, and Apratihata means it devotional service, it doesn't depend on any external circumstances, any material condition. So it is causeless and without, it doesn't depend on external circumstance. Yeah. Devotional service cannot be checked by any material condition. Yeah. Same thing. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended this process. ज्ञाने प्रयासमुपस्य ज्ञाने प्रयासमुपस्यनमन्तमेव जीवन्ति सन्मुखरितं भवदीयवार्तां स्थाने स्थिता श्रुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिर् ये प्रायसोचितचितो प्रतितैस्तिर्लोक्यम्. Bhagavatam 10:14-3. Yeah, very nice verse by Lord Brahma. One may remain situated in his own place or in his own occupational duty and still lend his ear to service the message of the Lord from realized souls. The Krishna conscious movement is based on this principle, and we are opening centers all over the world to give everyone a chance to hear the message of Krishna, of Lord Krishna, in order to go back home, back to Godhead. So one important sentence was there. One has to hear this message of the Lord from realized soul. This is very important. Still lend his ear to receive the message of the Lord from realized soul. Text 70. Tam evatmanamaत्मस्थानं सर्व सर्वभूतेष अव अवस्थितं पूजयाध्वं घ्नन्तश्च ध्यायन्तश्चाकृच्छाश्रकृद्धरिं त्वं tam unto him eva certainly atmanam the supreme soul atmastham within your hearts sarva all bhuteshu in every living being avasthitam situated pujayadhvam just worship him grantha cha always chanting dhyayanta cha always meditating upon asakrit continually harim the supreme personality of Godhead. Translation: Therefore, O sons of the king, the supreme personality of Godhead, Hari, is situated in everyone's heart. He is also within your hearts. Therefore, chant the glories of the Lord and always meditate upon him continually. Purport: the word ashak, ashakrit is significant, for it means not just a few minutes but continually. This is the instruction given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Sikshashtaka, Kirtaniya Sadahari. The Lord's name, the holy name of the Lord should be chanted 24 hours daily. Therefore, in this Krishna consciousness movement, we request the devotees to chant at least 16 rounds on their beats daily. Actually, one has to chant 24 hours daily, just like Thakur Haridas, who was chanting the Hare Krishna mantra 3 lakh times daily. Indeed, he has no other business. Some of the Goswamis, like Raghunath Das Goswami, were also chanting very rigidly and also offering obeisances very rigidly. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, one who doesn't chant 1 lakh names of Lord Krishna daily, I won't even look at his face. So 1 lakh round means 64 rounds. But Prabhupada so mercifully gave us only 16 rounds, and if that also we are not able to do, I have my rounds
Yes, Prabhu.
remaining. I'm reminding myself about this. So what's our status then?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept humble obeisances of Lord Krishna Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Praveen Prabhu, Tanda Pram, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So in that case, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will never look at us.
But
Yes.
Prabhupada,
Yes,
is
Prabhu.
in the line, na, current Acharya. So Prabhupada has mercifully reduced us. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Krishna has to listen to his pure devotee, right?
So that is the only advantage we have when we accept Prabhupada as our Guru Maharaj.
Because of Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will accept us hopefully.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'll continue. Some of the Goswamis like Raghunath Das Goswami were also chanting very rigidly and also offering obeisances very rigidly. As stated in Srinivas Acharya's prayer to 6 Goswamis, third Goswami Ashtaka, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nakiti, Kalavastita Kalavashanikrita. The word Sankhya Purvaka means maintaining a numerical strength. Not only was Raghunath Das Goswami was chanting the holy name of the Lord, but he was also offering obeisances in the same prolific numbers. Because the princes were ready to enter into some severe austerity in order to worship the Lord. The Lord Shiva advised them to constantly chant and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is significant that Lord Shiva personally offered his prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as he was taught by his father, Lord Brahma. Similarly, he was also preaching to the princess according to the Parampara system. One should not only practice the instruction received from the spiritual master, but should also distribute this knowledge to his disciples. The word Atmanam, Atmastham, Sarvabhuteshva Avasthitam are also significant. The personality of Godhead is the origin of all living entities. Because the living entities are parts and parcels of the Lord, He is the Father of all of them. One can search out the Supreme Lord very easily within his heart, for he is situated in every living entity's heart. In this verse, the process of worshipping the Lord is considered to be very easy and complete, for anyone can sit down anywhere and in any condition of life and simply chant the holy names of the Lord. By chanting and hearing, one automatically engages in meditation. Hari Bol. If any other devotees wants to take turn, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Who would like to continue? You have 20 more minutes.
I'll read, bro.
Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol.
Thank you. Text 71. Yoga desham upasadya dharayanto munivrataha samahita dhiyah sarva etad abhyasatadrihataha. Synonyms. Yoga adesham. This instruction of Bhakti Yoga, upasadya, constantly reading, dharayantaha, and taking within the heart, munivrataha, just take the vow of the great sages, the vow of silence, samahita, always fixed in the mind, dhiyaha, with intelligence, survey all of you, yetat, this, abhyasata, practice, adritaha, with great reverence. Translation provides divine grace. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. My dear princess, in the form of a prayer, I have delineated the yoga system of chanting the holy name. All of you should take this important stotra within your minds and promise to keep it in order to become great sages. By acting silently like a great sage and by giving attention and reverence, you should practice this method. Purport. In the Hatha Yoga system, one has to practice bodily exercises, dhyana, dharana, asana, meditation, etc. One also has to sit in one place in a particular posture and concentrate his gaze on the tip of the nose. There are so many rules and regulations for the Hatha Yoga system that it is practically impossible to perform it in this age. The alternative system of Bhakti Yoga is very easy, not only in this age, but in others as well. For this yoga system was advocated long ago by Lord Shiva when he advised the princes, the sons of Maharaja Prachina Barhishat. The Bhakti Yoga system is not newly introduced for even 5,000 years ago. Lord Krishna recommended this Bhakti Yoga as the topmost yoga. As Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, Yoginam api sarvesham mad gatenantaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam sai same Yuktatamo Mataha. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Bhagavad Gita 647. In other words, this system of Bhakti Yoga has been existing from time immemorial and is now continuing in this Krishna consciousness movement. The word Munivrata is significant in this regard because those who are interested in advancing in spiritual life must be silent. Silence means talking only of Krishna Katha. This is the silence of Maharaj Ambarisha. Sabai Manaha Krishna Padaravindayor Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. King Ambarish always fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord and talked of him only. Bhagavatam 9:4-18. We should also take this opportunity in life to become as good as a great saint simply by not talking unnecessarily with unwanted persons. We should either talk of Krishna or chant Hare Krishna undeviatingly. This is called Munibrata. The intelligence, samahita dhiya, must be very sharp and should always be acting in Krishna consciousness. The words etad abhyasatadritaha indicate that if one takes these instructions from a spiritual master with great reverence, adrita, and practices them accordingly, he will find this Bhakti Yoga process to be very, very easy. Text 72. Idam aha पुरस्माकं भगवान् विश्वशृक्पतिः Brigvadinam Atma Janam Sishruksu Samsishruksatam. Synonyms. Idam, this, aha, said, pura, formerly, asmakam, unto us, Bhagavan, the Lord, Vishwasruk, the creators of the universe, Patihi, master, Bhrigu Adinam, of the great sages headed by Bhrigu, Atma Janam, of his sons, Shishruksu, desires to create Samsikshatam, who are in charge of creation. Translation. This prayer was first spoken to us by Lord Brahma, the master of all creators. The creators, headed by Bhrigu, were instructed in these prayers because they wanted to create. Purport: Lord Brahma was created by Lord Vishnu, then Lord Brahma created Lord Shiva and other great sages headed by Bhrigu Muni. These great sages included Bhrigu, Marichi, Atreya, Vasishtha, and others. All these great sages were in charge of creating population. Since there were not very many living entities in the beginning, Vishnu entrusted Brahma with the business of creation, and Brahma, in his turn, created many hundreds and thousands of demigods and great sages to continue with the creation. At the same time, Lord Brahma cautioned all his sons and disciples by reciting the prayers now recited by Lord Shiva. The material creation means material engagement, but material engagements can be counteracted if we always remember our relationship with the Lord, as that relationship is described in these prayers recited by Lord Shiva. In this way, we can remain constantly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, despite our engagement in the creation, we cannot be deviated from the path of Krishna consciousness. The Krishna consciousness movement is especially meant for this purpose. In this material world, everyone is engaged in some particular occupational duty which is prescribed in the Varnashrama Dharma. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras, and everyone are engaged in their occupational duty. But if one remembers his first duty, keeping in constant contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything will be successful. If one simply executes the rules and regulations of the Varnasrama Dharma in the role of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, and keeps busy and does not remember one's eternal relationship with the Lord, one's business and activities as well as occupational duties will simply be a waste of time. This is confirmed in the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Dharma svanushtitah पुंसां विश्वक्सेन कथासु यः नोत्पादयेद् यदि रतिं श्रम एव हि केवलं Bhagavatam 1-8. The conclusion is that even if one is busy executing his occupational duty, his business in Krishna consciousness need not be hampered. He has simply to execute the devotional service of Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing, chanting, and remembering. One need not abandon his occupational duty, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Yatha Pravritir Bhutanam Yena Sarvam Idam Tatam Sarva Karmana Tam Abhyachya Siddhim Vindati Manavaha. By worshipping of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. Bhagavad Gita 18:46. Thus, one can continue with his occupational duty, but if he worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Lord Shiva herein prescribes, he attains his perfection of life. Svanishtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir hari toshanam. Bhagavatam 1-13. We should continue executing our occupational duties, but if we try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by our duties, then our lives will be perfected. Text 73. ते वयं नोदिताः सर्वे प्रजासर्गे प्रजेश्वराः अनेन ध्वस्त तमसः शिश्रुक्ष्मो विविधाः प्रजाः. Synonyms: they, by him, vayam, all of us, noditaha, ordered, survey, all, praja sarge, at the time of creating population, praja ishvaraha, the controllers of all living entities, anena, by this, dvasta tamasaha, being freed from all kinds of ignorance, sishriksmaha, we created, vividaha, various kinds of praja, living entities. Translation: when all Prajapatis were ordered to create by Lord Brahma, we chanted these prayers in praise of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and became completely free from all ignorance. Thus, we were able to create different types of living entities. Purport: in this verse, we can understand that the various types of living entities were created simultaneously at the very beginning of the creation. The nonsensical Darwinian theory of evolution is not applicable here. It is not that intelligent human beings did not exist millions of years ago. On the contrary, it is understood that the most intelligent creature, Lord Brahma, was first created. Then Lord Brahma created other saintly sages like Marichi, Bhrigu, Atreya, Vasishta, Lord Shiva, and others. They, in their turn, created different types of bodies according to karma. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Lord Kapilideva told his mother that the living entity gets a particular type of body according to his work and that this body is decided upon by higher authorities. The higher authorities, as appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are Lord Brahma and all other Prajapatis and Manus. Thus, from the beginning of creation, it can be seen that the first creature is the most intelligent. It is not that so called modern intelligence has developed by the gradual process of evolution. As stated in Brahma Vaivartana Purana, there is a gradual evolutionary process, but it is not the body that is evolving. All the bodily forms are already there. It is the spiritual entity or spiritual spark within the body that is being promoted by the laws of nature under the supervision of superior authority. We can understand from this verse that from the very beginning of creation, different varieties of living entities were existing. It is not that some of them have become extinct. Everything is there. It is due to our lack of knowledge that we cannot see things in their proper perspective. In this verse, the word dvasta tamaha, dvasta tamasaha is very important. For without being free of ignorance, one cannot control the creation of different types of living entities. As stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Daivanetrayana, bodies are awarded under the supervision of superior powers. How can these superior powers control the evolutionary process of the living entity if they are not free from all imperfection? The followers of the Vedic instructions cannot accept the Darwinian theory of evolution, for it is marred by imperfect knowledge. Text 74. Athedam nityada yukto japanna vahitah puman achirachreya apnoti vasudeva parayanah. Synonyms: atha, thus, idam, this, nityada, regularly, yuktaha, with great attention, japan, by murmuring, avahitaha, fully attentive, puman, a person, achirat, without delay, shreyaha, auspiciousness, apnoti, achieves, vasudeva parayanaha, one who is a devotee of Lord Krishna. Translation: a devotee of Lord Krishna, whose mind is always absorbed in him, who with great attention and reverence chants this stotra prayer will achieve the greatest perfection of life without delay. Purport. Perfection means becoming a devotee of Lord Krishna. As stated in the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makhaha. Bhagavatam 1 to 28. The ultimate goal of life is Vasudeva or Krishna. Any devotee of Lord Krishna can attain all perfection, material gains, and liberation simply by offering prayers to him. There are many varieties of prayers to Lord Krishna chanted by great sages and great personalities such as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Lord Krishna is known as Shiva Virinchi Nutam. Bhagavatam 11:5-33. Shiva means Lord Shiva and Virinchi means Lord Brahma. Both of these demigods are engaged in offering prayers to Lord Vasudeva Krishna. If we follow in the footsteps of such great personalities and become devotees of Lord Krishna, our lives become successful. Unfortunately, people do not know this secret. Nate viduhu swartha gatim hi Vishnum. Bhagavatam 7:5-31. They do not know that the real interest and the highest perfection of life is to worship Lord Vishnu Krishna. It is impossible to become satisfied by trying to adjust the external energy. Without being a devotee of Lord Krishna, one can only be baffled and confused. To save living entities from such a calamity, Lord Krishna points out in Bhagavad Gita, Vahunam Janmanamante, Jnanavan Mam Prapatyante, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma Sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Bhagavad Gita 7:19. We can achieve whatever benediction we want simply by becoming devotees of Vasudeva. Text 75. Shreyashamiha sarvesham jnanam nishreyasam param sukham tarati dushparam jnana naur vyasanarnavam. Synonyms: Shreyasam of all benedictions. Iha, in this world. Sarvesham of every person. Jnanam, knowledge. Nishreyasam, the supreme benefit. Param, transcendental. Sukham, happiness. Tarati, crosses over. Dushparam, insurmountable. Jnana, knowledge. Nauh, boat. Vyasana, danger. Arnavam, the ocean. Translation: in this material world, there are different types of achievement, but of all of them, the achievement of knowledge is considered to be the highest because one can cross the ocean of nescience only on the boat of knowledge. Otherwise, the ocean is impassable. Purport: actually, everyone is suffering within this material world due to ignorance. Every day, we see that a person without knowledge commits some criminal act and is later arrested and punished, despite the fact that he actually may not have been conscious of his sinful activity. Such ignorance prevails throughout the world. People do not consider how they are risking their lives in an attempt to have illicit sex life, kill animals to satisfy their tongue, enjoy intoxication, and gamble. It is very regrettable that the leaders of the world do not know of the effects of these sinful activities. They are instead taking things very easily and are succeeding in making the ocean of nescience wider and wider. Opposed to such ignorance, full knowledge is the greatest achievement within this material world. We can practically see that one who has sufficient knowledge is saved from many dangers, pitfalls from many dangerous pitfalls in life. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapatyante Vasudeva Sarma iti Samahatma Sudulamaha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Bhagavad Gita 7:19. This Krishna consciousness movement is determined to open wide the eyes of the so-called leaders who are full of ignorance and thus save them from the many pitfalls and dangerous conditions of life. The greatest danger is the danger of getting a body lower than a human being. It was with great difficulty that we attained this human form of life just to take advantage of this body and re-establish our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda. Lord Shiva advises, however, that those who take advantage of his prayers will very soon become devotees of Lord Vasudeva and thus will be able to cross the ocean of nescience and make life perfect. Text 76. Saivam Sraddhaya Yukto Madgitam Bhagavad-stavam Adhiyano Duraradhyam Harim Aradyayatva Sau Aradyayatva Synonyms Yaha anyone imam this Shraddhaya with great faith Yuktaha devoutly attached Mat Geetam the song composed by me or sung by me Bhagavat Stavam a prayer offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Adhiyanaha by regular steady Duraradyam very difficult to worship Harim the Supreme Personality of Godhead Aradyayati he can, however, worship him, Asau, such a person. Translation with great faith. Although rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worshipping him are very difficult, if one vibrates or simply reads this stotra prayer composed and sung by me, he will very easily be able to invoke the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. It is especially significant that Lord Shiva is a pure devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. Amongst all Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva is the topmost. Consequently, Lord Shiva has a Sampradaya, a Vaishnava disciplic section called Rudra Sampradaya. At the present moment, those who belong to the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya or Vaishnavas come from Rudra, Lord Shiva. To become a devotee of Lord Krishna, Vasudeva, is very, very difficult. The word especially used in this connection is Duraradyam. The worship of the demigods is not very difficult, but becoming a devotee of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, is not so easy. However, if one adheres to the principles and follows in the footsteps of the higher authorities as advised by Lord Shiva, he can easily become a devotee of Lord Vasudeva. This is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj. Devotional service cannot be practiced by a mental speculator. Devotional service is a special attainment which can be acquired only by a person who has surrendered unto a pure devotee, as confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj. Mahiyasam Padarajo Bhishekam Nishkinchananam na Vrinita Yavat unless one accepts the dust of pure. Unless one accepts the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who is free from all material contamination, one cannot enter into the devotional service of the Lord. Bhagavatam 7:5-32. Text 77. Vindate purusho musmad yad ichchati asatvaram madgita gitat pritaach shreyasam eka vallabhat. Synonyms. Vindate achieves. Purusha, a devotee. Amushmat, from the personality of Godhead. Yat, that which. Ichchati, desires. Asatvaram, being fixed. Mat, Gita. Come down low. Scroll down. Yeah, Mat Gita. Sung by me. Gitat, by the song. Supritat, from the Lord who is very pleased. Shreyasam, of all benediction. Eka, one. Vallabhat, from the dearmost. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the dearmost objective of all auspicious benedictions. A human being who sings this song, sung by me, can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee, being fixed in the Lord's devotional service, can acquire whatever he wants from the Supreme Lord. Purport: as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yam Ladhva Chaparam Labham Manyate Nadhikam Tataha. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining it, he thinks there is no greater gain. Bhagavad Gita 6:22. If one can attain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has nothing to aspire for, nor does he desire any other gain. When Dhruva Maharaj became perfect by austerity and saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead eye to eye, he was offered any kind of benediction he wanted. However, Dhruva replied that he did not want anything, for he was perfectly satisfied with the benediction of seeing the Lord. Except for the service of the Supreme Lord, whatever we want is called illusion Maya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jivere Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. Chaitanya Chantamrita Madhya 20:108. Every living entity is an eternal servant of the Lord. Therefore, when one engages in the service of the Lord, he realizes the highest perfection of life. A faithful servant can fulfill any desire by the grace of the Master, and one who engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord has nothing to aspire for separately. All his desires are fulfilled simply by engaging constantly in the Lord's loving service. Lord Shiva shows us that any devotee can be successful simply by chanting the prayers which he has recited. Text 78. Idam yah kalya uttaya pranjalihi shraddhayanvitaha shrunuyach shrave shravayan matyo muchyate karma bandhanaihi. Synonyms: idam, this. No. Idam, this prayer. Yaha, a devotee who Kalye, early in the morning, Uthaya, after getting up from bed, Pranjali, with folded hands, Shraddhaya, with faith and devotion, Anvitaha, thus being absorbed, Shunyat, personally chants and hears, Shravayat, and gets others to hear, Patyaha, such a human being, Muchyate, becomes freed, Karma bandhanaihi, from all kinds of actions resulting from fruitive activities. Translation: a devotee who rises early in the morning and with folded hands chants these prayers sung by Lord Shiva and gives facility to others to hear them certainly becomes free from all bondage to fruitive activities. Purport: Mukti or liberation means becoming free from the results of fruitive activities. As stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Muktir Hitvan Yatha Rupam. Mukti means giving up all other activities, and Swarupena Vyavastitihi means being situated in one's constitutional position. Bhagavatam 2:10-6. In this conditional state, we are entangled by one fruitive activity after another. Karma bandhana means the bonds of fruitive activity. As long as one's mind is absorbed in fruitive activities, he has to manufacture plans for happiness. The Bhakti Yoga process is different. For Bhakti Yoga means acting according to the order of the Supreme Authority. When we act under the direction of Supreme Authority, we do not become entangled by fruitive results. For instance, Arjuna fought because the Supreme Personality of Godhead wanted him to. Therefore, he was not responsible for the outcome of the fighting. As far as devotional service is concerned, even hearing and chanting is as good as acting with our body, mind, and senses. I repeat, as far as devotional service is concerned, even hearing and chanting is as good as acting with our body, mind, and senses. Actually, hearing and chanting are also activities of the senses. When the senses are utilized for one's own sense gratification, they entangle one in karma. But when they are used for the satisfaction of the Lord, they establish one in bhakti. Text 79. Geetam mayedam naradeva nandanaha parasya punsaha paramatmanah stavam japant ekagra dhiyas tapo mahat charadvam ante tata apsyate apsyatepsitam. Synonyms: Geetam, sung, maya, by me, idam, this, Naradeva, Nandanaha, of sons of the king, Parasya, of the supreme, Pumsaha, personality of Godhead, Paramatmanaha, the supreme, so the super soul of everyone, Stavam, prayer, Japantaha, chanting, Ekagra, perfect attention, Dhiyaha, intelligence, Tapaha, austerities, Mahat, great, Charadvam, you practice, Ante, at the end, Tataha, thereafter, Apsyata, will achieve, Ipsitam, the desired result. Translation: My dear sons of the king, the prayers which I have recited to you are meant for pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul. I advise you to recite these prayers, which are as effective as great austerities. In this way, when you are mature, your life will be successful and you will certainly achieve all your desired objectives without fail. Purport: if we persistently engage in devotional service, certainly all of our desires will be fulfilled in due course of time. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the fourth canto, 4th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So where is the snake? Oh, we read so many verses. Okay, I cannot find it. But, oh, this part ended. I didn't realize. Haribol. Okay, now we go to 6 Astakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarjanam pavamaha davagni nirvapanam shreyah kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma snapanam param vichayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Namnamakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis niyamita smaranena kalaha etatrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi duradaiva me drishamihai jena nuragraha.
Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna manina manadena kirtaniya sada hari.
Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavata bhaktiya hetaki twai.
Ainandatanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja sthitatuli sadrasam vichintaya.
Nayanam galadashrudaraya vadanam gadgadarudaya gira pulagairana chitam vapukada tavanama grahane bhavishyati.
Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravirshaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me.
Asislava paratham pinashtumam madarshanam marvam hatam karotu va yata tata va viratulan pato mat prananatastu sa eva narpanaha.
Haribol. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal savior, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shikshastaka ki jai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Jai
Jai,
Govinda ki jai.
Jai.
Haribo. Bahu janme kare yadi shravana kirtana tabutana paya Krishna pade premadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. The first offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second offense, to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Third offense, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master, thinking him as an ordinary person. Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. Sixth offense, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. Ninth offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10th offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for their fallen souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnu Para Paramhamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Sata Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Ananta Koitava Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Yamacharya Shri Ladidas Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Prem Se Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu
Prabhupada ki jai.
Dandavad Ram Golap.
Hare Krishna Subham Prabhu Dandar Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Sridhar Krishna Prabhu also Dandar Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavad Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you so much for joining, Prabhus. Pretty nice reading session. Tomorrow we start a new book, 4.4.
4.4 Haribo.
Haribo. Thank you, Prabhu.
What time are you starting tomorrow, Prabhu? Your time. I know you are 1 hour ahead of me.
Yes, Prabhu, 4:30.
4:30. So meaning it's 5:30. 4:30 meaning it's 3:30. To my time.
Yeah, maybe
But
5.
Prabhu, I think you should you should do it around 5, Prabhu, because usually Monday
yes,
and Tuesday there's like classes on Tattva Prabhu's lectures. And
Yes,
it's
Prabhu.
around 2 p.m. my time.
Yeah, today I was watching that.
Yes, Prabhu. I usually because he said he's gonna do it usually maybe Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere there.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I'll do 1 hour
And usually
later.
on Thursday and Fridays there's what do you call Q&As, and usually they end around 4 p.m. my time.
Yes, Prabhu.
So yes, Prabhu. Maybe 4 p.m., 5 p.m. your time, yes.
Yes, Prabhu. I'll do that. Now I will cook apple pie. Haribo.
Apple pie. Haribo.
Thank you, Prabhu.